again. I keep losing connection tonight. So anyways, see if I can maintain connection on here for a little bit. Trying to do some dark crystal art. I'm really enjoying the show. You should check it out if you haven't already. I don't have any reference in front of me, so I'm kind of doing this from memory. So we had our first day back at school today, which is always very exciting. We've got a lot of big stuff planned this semester, so I'm going to have a lot on my plate, but I'm looking forward to doing more of this kind of stuff too. I've got a lot more responsibility at school as well, which is exciting. There's a new president and department's growing, so it's pretty great. And if you don't know, I am a teacher at Wentworth Institute of Technology, so I teach in their industrial design department. It's a really great department, really great people, great facilities. And if you are thinking about industrial design, it is a fantastic program. So definitely check it out. Or shoot me a message, I'd be happy to tell you more about it. I like the idea of being kind of like feathers and stuff on the back of him. He's got, maybe this guy is like a fortune teller. I'm trying to remember if they had a mystic in there. Cool thing is each one of the Skeksis kind of has a name based on their role. So there's the scientist, the chamberlain, the general, the emperor. But I don't recall if there is a mystic. I think that could be kind of cool. Maybe he kind of like Jafar and Aladdin. You know, he's like the vizier kind of thing, and he advises the emperor, even though Everybody thinks he's a charlatan. The emperor still believes him. I'm not that far into the show, so maybe they'll introduce that. I don't remember that from the movie, but it's been a while. Put some. It's got these robes that are very billowy. Should really get some reference for the fabric. I'm kind of doing this by memory as well, which is probably a bad idea. I kind of know how folds in fabric work, so we'll get it close. Apologies for the cough. I know it's probably loud on the screen, so. You probably hear my wife tip-tapping on the keyboard, both working in our home office, which also doubles as our bedroom until our house is finished. We recently bought a home and are upgrading it, so we are living in a construction zone at the moment. But it's almost done, and when it is done, we'll have a nice studio and some other awesome space lined up. So I'm really excited about that. That'll be a game changer. Probably need to get some more reference for some of this stuff. But I like the idea of maybe this is like a fur trim, some sort of lace pattern or something. I'm gonna scribble this in and then we'll go in and render it later. I'm doing this all in black and white right now, and then I'll go in and add color later. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow night. I might paint that on the layer above it here. So like I said before, right now I'm just putting, in fact, I'm going to tone that background down a little bit. Yeah. I'm just blocking in some values. And even this is probably going to need some further work just to render some of this out. So this is really just like an initial block in, and then I'll go in and detail some of it. I like to try and keep it as loose as possible when I do this stuff. I say you use the biggest brush you can use. Try to imply as much detail as you can without overdoing it. So we're going to try and do that. I really like using the blend, or the smudge tool in Procreate. You can get some really beautiful brush marks depending on what brush you're using, and it's something that I really like to play with. We'll commit. A lot of times I like to go in and then I'll build up some details, so kind of get the airbrush in there, smudge it out, get some painterly strokes going on. You don't want it to be too soft. If it feels like it's getting too soft, you can just go back in and repaint part of it out. I personally prefer very sort of chunky looking brush strokes. John Foster, if you're familiar with his work, big influence for me. And Sargent and all the Impressionist guys, Phil Hale, and so I've been trying to figure out how to get that same kind of look digitally with the brushes that I'm using. I'm getting there. I think eventually I'll come close. Some of this stuff I should definitely get some reference for, because I know I'm messing something up. So this is still sort of an initial block-in stages. I don't get too hung up on any one particular part here. Cool thing is we could zoom way in and detail stuff out in the face, maybe. The way I like to do it is, you plop down like a blob of paint, and then you can go into your smudge tool and kind of pull that paint around, almost like it's oil paint. You get some nice kind of swirly effects. But again, I don't want to overdo it with the white. Just really tone that back a little bit. Cool thing is, when you're doing everything black and white, you can just go into hue saturation and you can darken the whole thing down, brighten the whole thing up. Play with values that way. I'm just going to say I have kind of a top light coming down here, so I'll add some of this. Sorry guys, got a bad cough. Let's add some detail to some of these. So I almost like to draw some of the stuff back in and then repaint it again. It's a very sort of Art Nouveau, technique. I've seen people do this, trying to recapture some of that, some of the edge. Kind of comic book painting style a little bit. And then we'll go in and fine tune that up a little bit more later and paint some of those edges back out. But I find that doing that lets you hold an edge a little bit. Some of these darker areas. I feel like he needs something else. Like, does he have a beard? It's almost dragon-like too. It's kind of weird. Add some little warts and stuff. Kind of texture out part of the face. These are some bad dudes. desperately clinging on to life and doing everything they can to avoid their impending demise. It's a great analogy, or a great metaphor, rather. Okay. Well, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to put them in the comments or ask them live if you want. I'm just going to keep doing this as regularly as I can and see who tunes in. I think I'm going to end up doing digital stuff on YouTube and analog stuff on Instagram just because you can't live stream the screen to Instagram through the iPad natively. This is not as far as I know, but maybe you can, and I just don't know how to do it. Maybe that would be better. I don't know yet. All right, so his robe needs some more decoration. I'm thinking maybe something on the shoulder here, some kind of knit, like pattern stitched in maybe. Maybe something on the back side. Maybe this is two different fabrics, right? They do a lot of layering. It's one of the coolest things about the costumes is like all this layering that happens in the fabric and stuff. It makes them look really, really big, but really underneath it, they're weak. They're very thin and decrepit. Happens in the movie when one of them dies and they strip him of everything. He's just this like little husk. So maybe he's got some layered fabric under here. And he just sort of hems, almost like a shell. At least for a couple of layers, that could be kind of cool. I imagine there's a big bustle or something that comes out the back end of that too. Let's add a little bit of texture to some of this. We'll draw in some highlights. Maybe not, maybe not. Imagine maybe that's gold or something laid on top. It could be kind of cool. Maybe there's some gold piping on there too, although that's a little too intense. Let's knock that back a little bit. For now. Just trying to get that to feel right. I don't want to be too wispy, you know? I want to just try and get some of that hair texture in there, or feather texture. If it's going to be feathers, maybe. Kind of plays up the bird nature of the sketches a little bit. And if he's a shaman or a mystic of some kind, you know, maybe these feathers are from a particular animal that ties him to maybe one of the Gelfling clans or something. Maybe he believes in their magic a little bit, and that's why the Emperor listens to him, is because he's a master of Gelfling lore, and that'd be kind of cool. It's a neat idea. Maybe that's why the other ones don't like him, because they think he's too close to them. I don't know how that fits into the rest of the lore of the whole universe so much, but it sounds cool. I kind of like how some of this is getting rendered down here, the fabric. I don't want to overdo it, because that's much more rendered than some of the rest of it. Because really, you know, they have all this fabric that they have on their arms, but their arms are really like, you know, if you imagine where this would go, this would kind of just go like this. You know, they're not as big as they appear. They wear all these robes and stuff to look bigger. There's a lot of extra fabric in there. This thing here is a little where I might have to move that around. Too thick. I like that as a compositional element. See what happens if we fill that with white. What happens if we just make it white? I like that even better. Really, guys, sorry about that. That doesn't blow your eardrums out. That's like a leather. It's kind of cool. It's like some animal hide or something. Leather over it with like a little trim. I get that leather texture on there. But I still like the idea of that being embroidered on the fabric sleeve. So maybe there's like a leather tunic that comes over the top, and there's like two pieces, and these feather pieces come down. That's kind of cool. I think. All right. I think that's going to do it for tonight. I'll finish this up tomorrow, maybe. See if there's anything else I want to do here real quick before I go. Yeah, I'll go back in and add some other stuff later on. Maybe that's like silk. Silk could be cool. Yeah, I need to knock that back a little bit. It's a little too bright on the highlights there. This is drawing too much attention. I think I need to knock that back a bit. Yeah, cool. I think that is going to do it for now. Thanks, everybody. I will see you all soon.